will still believe. Only fools in SFC.
Hello everyone, welcome to Midweek Mackems on Black Cats TV, Only Fools in SAFC and Michael Bauer's channel, all at the same time, as if by magic. Tonight, of course, I'm joined by the usual suspects. Wayne, how are you doing?
I'm very good, mate, very good. Nice to be away from work and to be talking about Sunderland at a very happy time for the next hour or 2 or 3 or 4.
we said 1 hour last time and it went for 2, so we won't even gauge it this time. Michael, how are you doing?
Maybe if you say it goes for half an hour, then it might go for an hour. If you want to say it goes for half the time, it ends up going on for.
Well, welcome to our 10-minute show.
Yeah, 10 minutes, 2 hours later. Yeah, this was about an extended 10 minutes, isn't it? Yeah, I'm not doing too badly. I've literally not long. I finished work less than an hour ago, so it's literally been get home, get food, get changed, get sorted, come on here. So it's been a bit of a whirlwind, but ready to talk about all things Sunderland. Can't wait. How are you? How are you doing?
I'm not so bad at all, thank you very much. And of
You're
course,
still happy that we're 7?
yeah. Well, no, I'm not happy till we're first, but you know, won't be long. And of course, Conrad joining us from Black Cats TV as well. How you doing, Conrad?
Yeah, I'm good, thank you. Yeah, it won't be. I saw someone say the other day, "Oh, Chelsea are only 2 points off second," and I had to go, "No, Sunderland are only 2 points off second." So you're not far off, Mike. You're not far.
Excellent.
You need to get the Little Britain clip again, don't you? Dear Lord, I'm getting delusional.
Yeah.
We've got people in the chat already. Good to see you here. The chat will come through from all of these guys' channels. Whoever you're watching on, don't forget to support it with a like on their stream. Subscribe if you're new to whichever channel you're on. And you've got the super chat options and all that lovely stuff as well. Hutchinski says, hi guys, Las Palmas Mackem in the house. He's usually the first, but he beat you to it this time. My brother's in the house. Evening 1-0 go. Okay, we're doing predictions already. Not a bit early for predictions, Steve. John Rawson, Breyer, Paul Armstrong, and Wayne's just talking there because he's had enough of talking to us already. There we go. So my 4-0 prediction was slightly off at the weekend, lads. Slightly off, but that wasn't down to me. That was down to a terrible referee. But we'll get onto that shortly. In general, Wayne. What did you think of the result?
Fantastic. I thought the way the game panned out, it was probably our best performance of the season. The way we dug in, I thought we you couldn't tell it was 10 versus 11 for large parts of the game. Stupid from Reinaldo. You can't excuse him. I know we'll touch on the referee was really poor, but for that one, there's no what you could do. It was a definite red card. He kicked out. You can't do it right in front of the fourth official. Give the ref a choice to make, and really, really stupid. But after that, the way we dug in for the rest of the game, the way we fought back was really, really good. Couldn't fault the lads' the effort. I said it on a stream earlier that these players look as though they've played for us for years, and that they just get it. They get the club, they get the fans, they get the area, and just get what it means. So, and it's at such an early stage, it's just class, and long may it continue.
Yeah. Shame about the injury, Michael, but good to see Rig get a start.
Yeah, without a shadow of a doubt. I mean, obviously that was probably one of the caveats that Rig signed a new contract in the summer, didn't he? So he's now obviously tied down till 2030, and I think obviously he would have been disappointed and thinking. And to be fair, you want all of the players who helped us get promoted, who have then ended up getting replaced effectively in the squad. You want them to be disappointed. You want them to say, well, hang on a minute, I want to be showcase that I can play. And to quickly touch on the Habib Diarra injury, sorry, just to skip ahead for you, because I'm sure you might have had that in a list. But obviously that's a huge blow, having him out until, December, I think. But very selfishly, maybe it means he skips AFCON, which I'm kind of hoping for.
I said this the other day. I've got a Newcastle fan at work, and I said it could be a blessing in disguise that he will come back just before AFCON, and they probably won't take him because he's been out for so long. But we'll have that bit more.
That's the
whole, all the opposite.
You want him to be back just in time for the Scum game and then have him play, but then get injured right at the end of it because we've won. And then he's out for about a week and a bit, and then he misses AFCON. He's not registered, and then he's with us against like Leeds and stuff like that. So,
I mean, surely if he's not had gameplay time, they won't call him out there. That was my thinking. But
I would if he was fit. I think they'd take him.
I think definitely.
I think they'd take him regardless if he's fit or not.
He's got a pulse. We'll have him.
Yeah.
If he's alive, we'll take him over. It's fine. But to be fair, look, I mean, obviously it's a huge blow. But on the flip side, it's a chance for the likes of Chris Rigg and Enzo Lefebvre to go, I want to stake a claim in this team. So, why not?
I think Rigg did.
Yeah. Well, I was going to say that, to be fair, for the opening half an hour before the red card, I thought Rigg was very, very good. I don't think it was anything. He certainly didn't look out of place. And bearing in mind, you're up against the likes of John McGinn for Aston Villa in the middle of the park. And you've obviously got, was it Lucas? I don't know if Lucas Digne started against us. I might be wrong on that.
He did,
Digne, Cash.
Kamara. Kamara had a great first half as well,
exactly.
but Rigg made him look stupid once or twice.
Exactly. So, and it meant also as well that likes of Buendia and Watkins couldn't get into the game because of how well we were playing. So, no, I felt for him really, but obviously, given the circumstance of the red, he was the unfortunate victim of circumstance that had to come off because of that. And
he did not look happy about that either.
No, but that's the attitude you want them to have. Almost, you want them to, and I'm pretty sure they had a good attitude anyway. He would have had that last season, but you could tell he just looked absolutely gutted. But it was just funny watching Mike's reaction to Wayne talking about the red card because I can just tell the sparks went off in his head.
Well, just before we go, I mean, I'm assuming we're going to come on to the red card, but have you got anything about Chris Rigg and Nat and the
yeah, I mean, we're not sticking to a schedule. We're just talking. Conrad.
Can I just I was saying on our video when I did a review of it, I was a bit like, who else would you have taken off? You're not going to take off Isidor up front. You're not going to take off any of the wide players because you moved Talby back and dropped Enzo back a little bit deep. Enzo was playing, wasn't he? You're not going to take off Siddiqui because he covers every blade of grass 4 times over. You're
definitely not taking Xhaka off, are you?
Yeah, exactly, because he organises. And you're not going to take a defender off when you've just lost a defender. Like, it was the only option.
I thought it would have been Lefebvre. I thought because you want to stay compact, you want to stay tight. Lefebvre being the creative player who floats a lot, I thought he would have come off to make us a lot more solid. So I was.
That's just because he's actually had more Premier League game time and probably played in Europe in other leagues. They went probably the experience over Rigg.
I was going to say he's got more in-game experience than Chris Rigg.
But if say that had been Diarra still, I think Diarra would have been the one sacrificed for Reynildo's sending off still. Out of all if you think of everyone else who played, Diarra was the one likely to drop out anyway, because yes, he's more box to box and strides forward, but I mean, maybe Enzo as well. But I just think, again, with the other two midfielders, you're not dropping either of them two, especially when you know you're going to be running around. Siddiqui running around, and he does it even when there's 11 men, let alone when there's 10, 9, 8 or 7.
Well, what a pleasant place to be in that Chris Rigg's the worst option that you have to take off the pitch. The wonder kid from the back heel
he's
skull.
Completely right to be annoyed, but also I think he took the sort of pulled a face and then went straight off, and it was like he knew it's not a personal choice or anything like that, and he'll get time. He'll
still shook the hand of the manager.
Absolutely, went and sat on the bench, and then and we'll come on to it later on. Even Neil got some minutes as well, and it was just a bit like, right, okay, you're not quite in it like you were last season.
I don't hate Dan Neil, says Mike. Also, Mike. Can I just point out, to be fair, that the only thing I slightly disagree with I suppose that I disagree.
You can't disagree with me.
Not allowed.
Well, no, Daniel's absolutely mint, so I don't disagree with you there. No, I was going to say, even if it had been Diarra playing, though, I think Lefebvre would have been the one to be taken off because of the industrious energy that Diarra gives you, considering that you're going to have to use that in abundance when you have a man disadvantage. But Lefebvre did it. But Lefebvre, to be fair, did it excellently. I mean, it's literally the case of that Chris Rigg was just the unfortunate victim.
It was one of them two, regardless of if Rigg was Diarra or Diarra was Rigg. It was one of them two, or Enzo was always going to be the one. Especially
I'm glad Xhaka didn't come off, because what an assist! Do you know what a placed header that was?
Yes, it was a cracking assist. But when you, from a Villa point of view, if you slow it down, they've got 9 players around the ball, and not one of them went for the header.
That sounds like us a few seasons ago, though. Wayne.
Yeah. They were saying, I think.
Motion.
I don't know if it was Match of the Day, or it might have been the program you were on, Wayne, the Premier League one. Another TV appearance for our Wayne. Let me just.
Thank you for getting that in, Conrad. Thank you for putting that one in.
They were saying something a bit like, if you're Villa, you've got to be absolutely raging that they just watched that. But it was Theo Walcott. He went, "Is that not the best assist you'll see this season? Because like that's a really difficult thing to just let the ball just hit you, just to cushion it through. So easy just to use your neck, and you would have done it too far or not enough." And
but it's not even just that, though. It's the fact that if you look at Isidor's run, Matty Cash just lets him get that yard ahead of him, and it enables him to angle his body up properly to actually have a striking goal. Yeah. And I'm not gonna lie, after the way he, because I did think we'll talk about the red card in a minute. I did think that, while I still stand by that, I think it was a red. I do think that Matty Cash made a massive meal of it, and I think that, and seeing that, it felt like a bit of a karma, really, that he was the one who lost Isidor for the equaliser. So, but yeah, look, you're right. I think
wasn't a red.
Do you think we just get straight onto it then?
Mike.
Yeah, let's just get straight onto that. We'll do that subject first.
So why is Mike wrong?
Right. You all three think it's a red. I'm sure the 56 people on our side and however many you guys have got over there think it's a red.
Get it in the chat, red or not a red.
But it's not a...
Mike, why do you think it's not a red?
Why do I think it's not a red? Okay, right, okay.
Stop stalling for time and repeating the question.
I'm pulling it up, right? So this is what we see. All right, this is what we see, and yeah, it looks like he's kicking him square in the ghoulies. Let's look closer, Wayne. Let's look closer. The foot is up here on the lower ribs. Where? Right, hang on. Go on.
I was going to say, why does it look like Reggie's cheering him on there?
Because he had his hand up.
Sorry, I had to
get him, stick it in. So that's where his foot is. That's the initial contact. Look where Reynildo's looking. At no point did he look up towards him to do this. He's just reacted. He's down on the floor. Something's falling on top of him. So he's saving himself and stopping things falling on him. His foot brushes across him, nowhere near his waistline again. That's at what point he looks at him. And then he's down, making a meal of it, holding parts he didn't even touch, and that's why Reynildo looks so confused.
No,
no red card.
You're seeing Reynildo on the floor there. Look, and his head was that way, but how his eyes are not looking up there to see where he's doing.
You can't see it on the stills, but you can see he's like that way, and he's looking into the grass, and then he turns as his foot goes up and he feels the pressure. That's when he looks up and he pulls back.
Right,
can I just say, I'm really impressed you didn't say. Go on, Wayne. Sorry.
If it's the other way around, is it a red card for a Villa player?
No, I think it was a harsh red card for any player, genuinely think it was a harsh red card for any player. It would have been a yellow card. If he'd have literally lashed out at him, punched him in the face, gone for the head, anything like that, yeah, I'll give it you.
It's harsh.
But Cash is very harsh.
It's the rules. You can't kick out, and he did kick out.
Yeah.
He didn't. He protected himself.
I think when we put it in our...
If I'm over the top of you, like a better example, if Conrad's over the top of you because he's like 8'6" and he's falling on top of you, and your foot's already there, you're going to stop him falling on you, right?
I was going to say that's the bit you left out from your chat the other day that you said he didn't do that. He was just pushing his feet up to hold him upright.
He was stopping him falling.
Yeah.
I want to see the chat now.
So I mean, there's history. So Maguire did the same thing last season and didn't get a red. Son did it a few seasons ago to Rudiger and did get a red for it. It probably shouldn't be because of the reasons you've said, but the fact is you can't stud someone in the midriff, whether you glance them, whether you full on push them or anything like that. And Matty Cash was always going to try and make the most of it and try, especially the run Villa have been on recently. He's probably thinking, great, I've done it, because he didn't even need to run into the back of him. So he's probably thinking, I've wound him up already and I've made him react. And that's probably a part of it, thinking, right, I've been slightly touched, go, they'll video it. Konza saw it straight away anyway. He was over like a shot.
Straight assault.
Straight assault. Not the worst red with the red.
James Bowen. Can I have Mike represent?
Mike might want to read James Bowen's comment on my stream. Because
I'll get there. Hang on, I'm going down. You look at you. Michael's poking the bear. Cash committing the first foul was the only way it stays a yellow, but retaliation is red. Defo not a red. It was a car. It was a car careless, not vindictive. There you go. A tad careless, not vindictive. 100%. Can I have Mike represent if I ever go to court? Listen, the evidence is there. I'm sure. Let me get on the appeals panel so he's not got a ban. That's the thing.
He's going to appeal to the Premier League. Can we have Ronaldo's ban rescinded? Here is the photographic evidence of why you were all wrong and why it's not a red. Who do you support? Sunderland. Oh.
We'll talk about the strike. Well, Conrad will bring up the striker situation very shortly. Before we go on to that, Ballard coming back from injury. What a presence! Like, not just in defence, like coming up, giving attacking options when we're down to 10 men as well. Wayne, he's just he's not come back slower like a lot of people do off injury, is he?
He was immense, wasn't he, when he come on? What I liked is when the ball was there, when he dropped in midfield and he was fighting with their midfielders, straight in and closing their play down, which was cracking, and it gave us kind of the extra body in midfield to then allow us to get forward. I mean, at one point we had Ballard, McQuailey, and Alderete in their box, for these long throws, and just we're still going for it. So he's just immense. It's going to be hard to see where he fits in and how the team's going to now play. Like we touched on last week, is Trey Hume. We'll touch on Trey Hume's tackle in a little bit, I suppose, in a little while. But is Trey Hume the one that misses out? Like I've said last week, it's a really, really hard decision, but a good decision for Regis to make.
Yeah, it's a difficult position. Like I say, it's better than being in the position of which Nick Nectaris going in or Triantis going in. There. I mean,
good. Wayne and Bowers, you'll have had a great look from where you two both sit that the ball moved. From where I sit in the northeast corner, we all went, no, because it looks like he doesn't even touch the ball. The ball obviously didn't change direction from where we saw it. We all went, we're going to be at 9. Like, what's going on? And then we were all like, did he just boot him one? And we're like, yeah, he did just boot him one. Is the ref not give it? No, ref's not give it.
We were the opposite, because where we are, it looks like a hell of a tackle, cracking tackle. But actually, when you see it from the side, you think, oh, he's not touched the ball there, because from the side on, doesn't look as though he's touched it.
Yeah, you needed an end-to-end angle like you or Bowers from where you two sit would have seen the ball change direction.
See, to me, it looked like he did get the ball.
And
I think even
he does touch it. Yeah, he does.
Guy Mowbray says it in the Match of the Day commentary that he does, like, even if it's like it is full-blooded, obviously, he does get the ball. But like, if you've seen Morgan Rogers' Instagram, it wasn't an Instagram story that he's since deleted. I wonder why.
Yeah. Seen your reply as well, Michael, by the way.
Sorry?
I saw your reply as well.
Yeah, well, I thought, no, I'm going to correct a bit of stupidity here, because you're saying that we promote like all tackles like that. All right, then. If that's the case, then by that logic, you lot promote Matty Cash making a meal of it like a ballerina to get someone sent off. So,
Morgan Rogers has that image of him stood over a Wolves player where the Wolves player had done his ACL and he's absolutely yelling in his face because he's claiming he's time wasting.
He can't have it both ways, can he?
Exactly.
Yeah. And he was a miserable bastard. Ref, do you remember right at the start when the ref went kick-off and he stopped them because 2 Villa players ran across the line and went, go back? Rogers was already going, game hadn't even started. He's just a miserable bastard, he is.
Right, well, I think my 2 cents on the thing is my 2 cents on the Reynaldo red is ultimately that I can see Mike's point of view that in a lot of ways it does look a harsh one, and I can now maybe see. Yeah, here we go. I can also now see why I can slightly see more why some people think it is a red. But sorry, it's not a red. But for me, ultimately, at the end of the day, if you are raising your boot like that, whatever it is, you're just giving, as cliche as it is, you're giving the ref a decision to make, and you're going to give Matty Cash the opportunity to be a ballerina and make a meal of it. Yeah. So. Do you remember the good old days of football when Schmeichel would come up and jump for a ball and have his foot studs up every single time?
Right. Yeah.
I wouldn't know. I've been poisoned by us being in League One. I remember the good old days of being in the Premier League still, not dropping to play Accrington Stanley. But yeah, no, I do get you. I mean, like, the game just has changed now. It's just those days with VAR, you in the Championship, he might have probably got away with that if the ref didn't pick it up. Well, actually, I'm saying that the referee picked it up by himself.
The ref gave it, didn't he?
Yeah.
So, and then VAR confirmed it. Yeah.
Yeah. So pretty much. So personally, for me, I've got no complaints. If that was the other way around, I'd be fuming if the red wasn't given.
The one, and I don't. There's not many plus points of VAR apart from we've actually had an all right rubbing with it so far this season. Is I actually really liked the way the ref didn't need to say anything, but did you see about 2-3 minutes later they put it up on the screen?
Yeah, the reason why the red was given.
They'd done it, and it was a bit like, oh, that's actually really good. That I read the whole thing was like, that's really. Like, thank you. You've explained it. Yeah, I didn't see it. Yeah, it was on the other side. I remember, but I knew at the time something must have happened because I was watching the ball go on, and then I heard all the people around Aaron just go, "Oh no!"
Yeah.
Like you could just feel this groan, and then you saw Renildo go, "What are you doing?" And Cash on the floor, and you were like, "Well, the noise that was accompanied with that wasn't good." So, like, he's clearly done something that everyone's like, "Uh oh, we're going to be caught out here." Is that you, Mike?
Not a red. Even if it was one of their team, not a red. Stupid refereeing, lousy Cash response. If you get kicked in the town halls, you know about it. He was fine a few seconds later. Exactly. The fact he was clutching the wrong part of his body tells me that wasn't contact hardly at all.
Look, there's no doubt about what he made of it, but the fact is, you cannot kick out and raise your studs. That's yes, it's harsh, but that's the laws of the game.
That's how it is. Yeah.
If he hadn't pushed his foot and just sort of held him and just sort of stayed, you might have got away with it. But the fact that he made that sort of motion was it. Yeah.
I think Labrie bought the How to Stay in the Premier League book by Tony Pulis in the summer. Apparently, he can play left back.
Can I just touch on Nordy? That Alderete, when
I wouldn't. Bar, he's bigger than you.
Fucking hell, mate. Like, he's a beautiful man. Like, honestly, whatever he wants. Like, honestly, did you see that nearly assist for Alderete's header from like? And again, it was all the Villa players stood watching, not going to head the second ball, and he just runs in and outside of the foot volleys it to Alderete. Again, like you said, all defenders in their box who heads it over the keeper on the bar. I was like, that would have been the best assist of the season. Why are our three centre backs like this good at football? Like, you normally sit there and go, well, your defenders are good at defending, but get them up there, they're not actually any good. I'm sitting there going, these are our best three fucking players. Like, look at it.
Look at him. He's got technically, this guy's a fucking beast, isn't he? Well,
I love Nordy already. Everything about him is fantastic.
Like you say, he gets it. We've just been sitting there. I mean, every tackle, every corner, he's giving it this with the fans, and he just gets it. Gets it.
First of all,
I don't know how Alderete didn't break his knees, though. You know, when he missed, when it hit the bar, and he leant back, and his knees were like, I don't know how you even did it. It's like he's on his knees and just
because he's hard as nails, Conrad. That's why.
That's exactly.
Oh, I don't know. The image probably isn't still on, Mike. Have you got the one where he's celebrating, Isidor's celebrating, and he's like throttling somebody on the floor almost, it feels like.
Isn't this when he like punches the floor?
Yeah, he's going like this, and then he turns around, like crouches over, like almost get like you've got someone on the floor like that, and he starts going, rah!
The best angle you should see of that is I think it was a Villa YouTuber that put up, like someone who was in the away end. The goals, and you actually watch it. That's the best angle you see when Isidor scored.
He's just randomly like throttling the invisible man, like celebrating the goal. It's unreal.
Imagine he's Matty Cash. You, mate, let's go down to 10 men.
Yeah. You deserve this, you bastard.
Yeah, pretty much.
With the VAR, the likes of John Kay, Stephen Doyle would have been off about 10 minutes.
You're right there. 100%.
Ball would have been off. Catamol would have been no chance. You can go all the way through every team we've had over the last 20 years. There's been somebody that would lynch.
It genuinely probably would have got to the point where Catamol would have had more red cards in a season than appearances at VAR if he was in there with VAR.
What year was it? 2011, 2012? He was trying that after 3 games. He had 2.
I've got a weird like thing where every time Hugh makes one of those tackles, I feel like somewhere Phil Bardsley's proud. I don't know why. He's just
he's not dead. He's not dead, but he's looking down on him.
Yeah, that's it. Speaking of the team, before we move on, Conrad, you'd have been happy.
Yeah.
Why?
Yeah.
Go on.
Why? Because I think last week, I can't remember if anyone agreed with me, but I was the one saying Isidor needs to be starting and needs to keep his place from Crystal Palace because, of course, I thought we played well at Crystal Palace. And even taking away his goal, the link-up play in the first half with Rigg, and I think it was Talby's assist, and then his defensive work when we were off the ball as well was absolutely phenomenal, the way he got us out. Second half as well, he'd had a couple of chances as well. And I just thought, well, Oh, stop it! Yeah, Isidor's in that picture too, by the way.
That's what I'm showing. I'm showing Isidor next to me. Ender. That's the whole point of it.
You just need Broby in there just to have like the striker trio.
Yeah.
And then I've just given Mike an excuse to use the Mr. Blobby thing, which I know he's going to do because I can see
I wanted to ask the team. Again, this is a very YouTube question, but are you ready to admit yet that Isidor should be the starting striker currently?
Nope.
No? Okay. 3 goals in 78 minutes per goal as well, based on his
right. When he gets the opportunity, he's a great player when he gets the opportunity. He reminds me so much of like Peter Crouch for England, not Peter Crouch for his club. But he just doesn't feel like a 90-minute player. He still feels like he has these moments, but that could be the player you bring on for the last 20 minutes. There's just moments where it's just work a bit harder. Just do a bit more.
He was working incredibly hard on that game.
I disagree with that, Mike. If you watched him when he came off, he came off on his knees. He was absolutely shagged.
Yeah, he was pagged. Yeah.
You can be knackered and not work, Dan. That's me every Monday.
Yeah.
But I mean, at this moment in time, he's got to be our first choice striker. Mayenda is probably not in the form. Even though he started the season now, he's missed a couple of chances. Broby's not fit. So at the moment, Isidor is our number 1 striker. So 100% I would say at the minute, he is. Even though I disagree with him last week. But
we've had another game since then, and he scored again since then. And to be honest, he could have had 2 or 3, really, with the chances that he got.
He's got a record.
Yeah, he's the best ever newly promoted striker at home or something, isn't he?
Yeah. Premier League history.
Recent times he will be.
Second top goal scorer in the Premier League. Joint. But still second top goal scorer in the Premier League.
I'm sticking to me guns of no. Wayne's clearly fickle and just gone right over to Conrad's side. Michael, where do you stand?
Okay, I'll tell you what. I'll balance it out. I'm still not convinced he should be at the minute. Yeah. I think he would be. I think he's a perfect player to come off the bench. I think one of the things don't get me wrong. Isidor, when he's had the opportunities, he's a great. Hey Lauren, thanks very much for watching. I think one of the things about Isidor I do like is like obviously when he's had the when he's had the opportunity to have like just one chance, he takes it. More times than not, you look at obviously. I mean, West Ham, he had a bit of time to think, but obviously we were 2-0 up at that point.
He made that chance himself at West Ham.
He did.
I will say.
Yeah.
It was given to him on the side, but he was the one who went, I'm not passing this to anyone. I'm driving in and shooting.
I think Talby obviously helped massively with it, but he still had a lot to do, Isidor, to be fair. And obviously Brentford, look, you can say whatever you want if Kelleher should have saved it. The fact is he got a goal, so you managed to have one of your first touches there and actually end up getting us the winner. One of the things I'm not as struck on Isidor, and there's the only thing about him that I would like to see improve. I'd like to see him not be bullied as much. And there was a couple of times in the Villa game where I did feel like he was getting dominated a bit too easily for my liking.
There was one time he did use his strength, and the ref gave a free kick because Konza fell over. I nearly fell out my seat with anger.
Yeah, well, I'm not gonna lie. The referee was pants all game, but but either like I said, the red card was one of the only things I agreed with him on. The rest of it, I thought he was awful. But don't get me wrong. If Isidor did start on Saturday at Forest, I wouldn't complain about it because I think you can argue he's earned it. So. Right now, I'm still unsure as to who our number. I have a feeling Broby is going to be our number 1 in time, but because we've spent around 20 million quid on him, so I would be very surprised if he isn't at least starting a handful of games this season. Assuming, of course, he doesn't get injured.
He'll soon be coming on as the second striker for whoever is on and coming off and getting his minutes under his belt and getting chances, and then at some point, he'll usurp them both.
We could be restricted with one up front. I was going to say, Wayne, you had something to mention about formation, though, right?
I mean, if you look at sometimes you stumble on formations, didn't you? And on Saturday, when we switched Talby to left back, I thought it was absolutely amazing. He suddenly became a different player. He was defending, he was bombing forward. He played a part in the goal. And he tried to crosses attempts twice, and I just thought, have we stumbled on a formation where we play 5 at the back to accommodate Ballard, Alderete and Nordy, and then have Hume and Talby as kind of wing backs? Is that an option? I mean, I don't know. I just want to throw out there. Sometimes these kind of things happen by accident. And I thought we were class. I mean, I know it's a different scenario when you're playing 10 men. It's not the same when you've got 11 men on. You play slightly different. But I just think that might be an option now that we can switch to 5 at the back if need be.
But by the way, sorry to interrupt. Isn't it great we've actually got these options though, and you can literally Because what was it? But we used to, so many times in the past, we've had, if we don't have players fit for this system, we're fucked.
Yeah.
Whereas now we can go, right, okay, he's out, he can go there, he can go there, he can go there. We can switch and then it won't look out of place there. And again, it's all about, and I mentioned last week about how when Kieran McKenna mentioned about with squads and how stretched they got in the Prem, this is what's going to be massive if we're going to stay up, or in Mike's case, finish in Europe. So if whichever way is going to happen, it's going to be massive for us to have options and be able to have and I'm talking like quality options, and be able to rotate and to be able to change system as a need be.
Yeah.
I'd
Conrad?
say the best thing about Talby was it actually felt like this is more normal for him to be cutting back in on his right foot and actually having a full pitch to aim at. It made me sort of think, is he actually one of them wingers you put on the other side to get him on his stronger foot? Like you say, when in his build-up to the goal, when he cut back, went past two players and tried to fire it into the far corner for it to sort of then get into the header for Xhaka. But I hadn't seen him yet do that on the right-hand side, not go down the line on anybody, or when he cuts back to try and find Hume or in the midfield, he looks like, well, that was a waste. Like, why have we sort of slowed him down? He doesn't look like he's in his full sort of free-flowing movement yet. So it might be that he is better suited to either the left side, or like you say, if we end up having to go to like City and play, five at the back with them, you could easily go, well, actually, yeah, it's a 4 maybe when, we're forward on the left side and Hume's tucked in, but then the other way is vice versa. But again, this is then going to be if Reinildo, or when Reinildo is back, is he going to then take that position? Because he's great at bombing forward as well. He's got energy for days as well, but obviously he's not Talby. And I do think Talby's been growing into this season. I remember the first game thinking, there's a player there, but he's not quite here yet. Burnley, he had that chance which he just put wide. Brentford, again, I sort of went, why have you played over Adingra? That's strange. And then he's sort of growing into it, I think. He's obviously not quite settled in as well as, say, the three midfielders had. But I think he's getting better. And that could be part of it, finding his actual best suited position.
Yeah, I would agree with you, Wayne, that we couldn't adapt it, but I just don't feel like we're going to. I feel like we've been stuck in this formation for ages. The only manager that changed anything was when Dodds had his spell in charge and he switched it up against Leeds and stuff like that, didn't he? He changed the formation a few times and it seemed to work.
Parky played 3 at the back with overlapping centre-backs for a bit.
Yeah, it's just we just seem to be stuck. Hopefully we'll have to adapt with it and stuff like that, and we'll see. I
don't have a problem with overlapping centre backs if Aldereti's going to keep getting efforts off the bar, and then eventually.
Hopefully, just an inch or two lower.
I'm with Terry. Could we play Meyenda, Isidor, and Brobby as a front three at some point? Do you think?
If they're all fit, I don't see why not. Meyenda on the right, Isidor on the left, and Brobby through the centre. Absolutely, you could do that. There's no reason why you couldn't.
It could happen during AFCON, couldn't it? With all the wingers going there.
Yeah.
Just mention, guys, in the chat, I am starring your questions when they come up. Some of them are relevant to what we're already talking about, but we'll go back to them at the end and pick up the questions. 90 people in here. Don't forget to smash like whichever stream you're watching on. And all the channels are up the top. So if you get a chance during or after this, please go and subscribe to each one of the channels as well. That'd be awesome. So, yeah, Michael, you were on about statistics. Sorry, your point was on statistics. Do you want to ask your question on that?
Yeah, go on then. Why not? I want to mention Alt Ending again. Obviously, a great Sunderland YouTuber hasn't been able to do as much content because of like Premier League broadcasting rights and everything. Apparently, it's brutal. Apparently, in the Prem. So, but his content up to this point certainly has been great. But he was the one who mentioned this. So if it's wrong, go blame him. But from what I did. Yeah, just to throw some stick his way.
Star Wars Mike would say, who's more foolish, the fool or the fool who follows him?
Touche.
Yeah.
Any Star Wars quote's fine by me.
Yeah.
But yeah, let you just say like to Alt Ending, if everyone's giving a stick, come here, my little friend. Don't be afraid. Yeah. But he mentioned apparently that was in 33 Premier League seasons, no promoted team has gone down when they've got at least 8 points in the first 5 games. Now, Sunderland, of course, have 8 points. So, based off that, if statistically that is going to follow, we should be all right.
We'll get ready.
Yeah. And by the way, I'm very surprised that Mike's not circled around our position and just gone, Get your passports ready, lads. It's Conference League already.
That's the next page.
I just
Oh,
cut off after Leeds because there was nothing relevant past 12th place. I was just
I wonder who's below Leeds.
Forget them. Forget them.
Guys, by the way, actually, genuine question. Imagine if someone said to you after 5 games, oh, by the way, you're going to be above the Saudi Arabian club up the road, and you're also going to be above Manchester City. 5 games. You just got...
Michael, I'd have said, I know.
Yeah, but you said we're going to be above everybody, though.
You just said we should be higher. That's what you would have said.
Yeah.
Now, everyone else is going to be... Say we finish, like, I don't know, 11th or something, and everyone's going, oh, what a mid-season. It's great for the first year back in the Premier League. Mike goes... Well, we could have been in Europe, to be fair. Really. I mean, in Mike's defence, though, Wolves finished in Europe twice. First 2 seasons, they went up after they went up. So,
I mean, can I ask, based off Michael's point there, which is a really good point, going around the table really quickly, are you still thinking we're in a relegation battle at this stage, or is it we're still way too early, or have you got a bit more confidence after what you've seen, Wayne?
I think it's still way too early. I think we had a good start. Obviously, on paper, you've still got to go and get the results. I think we've probably done better than what we expected, barring the Burnley result. At the minute, I'm way more confident than I was at the start of the season, obviously. Having seen the other teams at the bottom, I think we are better than our 4 or 5 teams easy, West Ham, Wolves and the like. So I'm a lot more optimistic. I think a lot will depend on how many points we've got on the board before Christmas and AFCON. I know people said that they're not worried about AFCON, but I am. I just think if we've got 6 or 7 players away, plus we've got a really, really hard run of games in December. So them two combined, I think, see where we are January. But at this moment in time, I'm massively, massively confident that I think we'll be all right. Now I've heard Michael start as well, obviously.
Yep. Conrad, are you still too early to call?
Yeah, it's too early to call because, there's been plenty of... what was the 3rd season in the Premier League under Peter Reid? Weren't we like 2nd getting in December and January, and we ended up 16th at the end of it? Like, teams can fall and plummet at any point. I do think that I have been completely sort of taken aback by how good we've actually been in games, in especially different kinds of games like Crystal Palace, for example, or even Brentford and Villa, where they're meant to be better, coming to our place. And the West Ham one was a bit of like you didn't know at the time, but obviously they're terrible and we were on an absolute wave. But it makes me feel confident going into each game that I think we could get something. I'm sitting here going, I think we could go to Man City and easily get a draw, potentially even get a few goals behind us or nick one and try and sort of see it out. And if you'd have told me that in April when we were having 5 defeats in a row to the likes of, I don't even want to remember who it was.
Oxford, QPR.
Yeah, whoever they, all of that. And then going and your team is this. I'd have been sitting there going, I don't think we can beat West Ham. I don't think we can beat... Hello, mate. Wolves, and it's just really refreshing to sort of think, I feel more confident in each game, but I'm not willing to be drawn into, we're definitely staying up with 33 games left to go.
Yeah. It's a terrible impression of me.
Yeah. That was Kermit the Frog who was questioning me on our chances earlier on.
Michael, are you feeling more confident?
Well, I said we'd stay up at the start of the season. I felt that we would have. I think I said I did originally at the start of the summer after the post-euphoria of Wembley and everything. I did say at the time it was hard to look past the promoted 3 going straight back down again because of the patterns of the last couple of seasons. But I think, again, a lot of people that say that, so I'm talking like the mainstream media, haven't looked at don't seem to me have looked at the individual circumstances of each club and why and how what contributed to them getting relegated. Whereas I think, and to be fair, I'm going to say this about Leeds and Burnley, I think all 3 promoted clubs this season have kind of looked at the last couple of years and went, right, what do we not do and how do we give ourselves a genuine shot? But in Sunderland's case, I think since we signed Xhaka, to be honest, I was quite well, I'm not going to say confident because it is Sunderland, but I was more optimistic about not going straight back down. And I think, look, you're right. I think it's I think Mike and Wayne and Conrad are right. I think it's still way too early to say for definitive that if we're going to definitely stay up. But from my point of view, I think what's given me more encouragement is the last 2 games in particular. for different reasons. Where I think a lot of people were determined to put down Sunderland's start after we beat West Ham and Brentford, and obviously lost to Burnley, because they go, you had an easy start. But the flip side is, if we'd lost those games, then what would people say then? So it's like you cannot win. So all right then, based on that, Leeds win at Wolves doesn't count because Wolves are crap. So works both ways.
Exactly. Yeah.
But either way, the last two have shown quite a lot of encouragement for me. Crystal Palace, like I said last week, you remember Crystal Palace arguably should be in the Europa League, and it's only thanks to off-field or some controversies that they're not. They beat Man City in the FA Cup final and deserved to beat them. Deservedly, from what I heard, beat Liverpool in the Community Shield. And they honestly are not a bad team. And I think that to go there away from home and get something was encouraging, especially after we lost our first away game away at Burnley. So that was encouraging. And then Sunday, for a whole multitude of different reasons. I said last week I think a point would have been pretty good. And I'm pretty sure while I'm at it, I said 1-1 actually. So for once I get a score right. But I would have took a point before the game anyway, 11v11. Because I'm still looking at Villa's squad, and I just think, while I believe Villa were very flat on Sunday, that squad's still for me in a false position. And I think Unai Emery is still going to turn it round at Villa. He's or
one of the two.
Yeah, well, I don't. If he has a few more results like this, I don't think he'll get the chance.
Well, obviously,
I think he'll get given the chance, but I think he almost seemed to be having a go at his players, and I think at some point he might just throw his toys out the pram and go,
he publicly criticised his players, didn't he, after the game?
Yeah, if you go down that route, it doesn't usually end very well. But having said that, but the big thing for me is I'm not the only one who must have. If my immediate thought when Neil got sent off, I thought, yeah, we're going to do very well to get anything out of this now.
I said it'll be a miracle if we get anything from this now.
Yeah, I said the same thing, and I felt like, even especially when Cash scored and we went 1-0 down, I was thinking, well, then there you go. So we're probably going to, because of that incident, we're probably going to end up losing the game. But even then, to come, and actually in a way, it was probably better we drew 1-1 than 0-0, because it meant we could come back from a losing position with a man disadvantage to get something. So the last two fixtures are against sides that are in Europe, in European competitions, and I feel it's given me a lot of encouragement that we can very well match teams in this league. Even if we don't always get results, we're not going to be, well, touch wood, we're not going to get absolutely battered.
Not often. We won't often get embarrassed.
No, exactly. I mean, obviously, away at likes of Man City, you'd expect it, but in more games, I'm hopeful that we. So, Mike, to answer your question in a long-winded way, because I always do this. Yes, I am more optimistic than what I certainly was at the start.
Can I just say quickly about when you mentioned about the newly promoted sides? I think I saw a stat the other day. It might have been again on your program, Wayne, where they said the newly promoted sides this time last season had 7 points between them all, and the newly promoted sides this year have 19 points between them all.
That says quite a lot.
Yeah, and we have the majority of that with 8.
And bearing in mind, to be fair, if you're looking at the likes of Burnley in particular, look at the run they've had fixture-wise.
Yeah, and they should have got something from Man United and Liverpool, Burnley as well.
Yeah, exactly.
What encourages me more than anything else, I know we joke and I say Europe and stuff like that, but that's just my heart over my head most of the time. But what encourages me more than anything else is, like you say, being 1-0 down, being a man down, and the response we saw from Sunderland is something I've not seen for a while from Sunderland squads, where they were not just sat back absorbing pressure and trying to get away with a 1-0 loss and play for goal difference, but they were out there. It wasn't just a one-off goal. We were attacking a lot. Ballard was halfway up the pitch, winning balls and getting it back forward again. With 10 men, we were still challenging for that game all the way through. And Sean Thompson in the chat is a genius as well, by the way, just throwing that out there. Isidor will get 15, maybe 20 this season as we qualify for Europe.
If he does that, will he be better than Mayenda?
Can you get that comment back up? Right, so Sean, I tell you, here's something from the four of us, right? So we all just meet up with Sean at the end of the season if he's right, and we get Europe, he gets 15 and 20, and we'll each buy him a pint. There you go.
Yes, that's a deal for you.
There you go.
I said it first, where's my pint?
Oh, by the way, okay, fine.
You didn't say Isidor will get 15.
Just to quickly mean, does that mean if he gets 15 and 20 in all competitions if we win the FA Cup?
Yeah.
Even if we finish
I'll take all comps.
We win the FA Cup, do a Palace.
Yeah.
That'd be quite nice. But yeah, look, but you are right. I mean, I'm pretty sure it was. I think I looked it up. Apparently, Leicester and Ipswich last year, I think, didn't get to something like 7 or 8 points until October, November. Or
one of them didn't win until November.
Until November, aye.
Here's one for you. We're 2/3 of the way to Southampton's tally already.
Right, there you are.
But we're on minus 16 if you ask Leeds and Burnley fans from last season.
Yeah, we've still got some way to make up for the 24 points gap, don't we?
It's ridiculous. Let me get through a couple of these comments so we don't leave people out. Eddie said, don't feel like we've been involved in relegation battle. The calibre of our players, and every time I see us play, I think there is no way we are going down. Look way too solid, he says. Miles of Sunderland said, new signings are showing more. We are here to compete and not just survive. Can only get better through more games. We said that last week, didn't we? They need time
didn't the
to
media
gel.
put something? Didn't the media have a tagline of "We don't want to just survive but thrive in the Premier League"?
Yeah. What do you call the cat?
Storm.
It feels like that feels appropriate for every home game. It's like the calm before the storm.
Yeah.
Go on.
I'll have to do that and then start putting up some like really funky sort of like dubstep and just the cat sort of image with like multicolours in the background.
Don't make me play the Mr. Blobby tune. The way we are playing gives us hope and so much enjoyment. It's too early to call. However, in my predictions, I put us 15th as being.
I think I had 15th as well, didn't I, Mike? Somewhere around there.
Yeah,
15th, 16th, yeah.
You're all super
at the start of the season
and stuff like
that.
Yeah. I
think Mike had us like, I want to say 9th.
Third?
Yeah, third. I think you went 9th, Mike. I think you were being pessimistic at the time.
Pessimistic at first, and then I said 7th. And my most recent and total Mystic Mike premonition, the guy that's got Ballard's go right, is 10th by January, 6th by the end of the season. All right, there we go. I must agree, Mike. We're never gonna sit back. We're going for a draw or even a win. Yeah,
can I just point out, to be fair though, like you look in the first 15 minutes of the second half, it was us creating the chances. By the way,
it was us.
You know, which I couldn't believe.
It is
even after when the second half started, it was all us.
Yeah. Right, on to transfer news. Well, no.
John Lucchini again. No,
not really transfer news, but just something that was popping around the feeds, and I wanted to mention it. And obviously, was this picture. So we see Dembele there winning his trophy there, and we saw him at the Sheffield United game as well.
Why do I feel like
season.
I know where he's going with this?
Yeah, and they've been childhood friends for a long time. Is this a future? Not now. A couple of years' time, he's contracted to 2029. As we go into Europe this season, start competing properly. Is this a future signing? £90 million from PSG. You all laugh, but if I'd have said this about Xhaka last season, you'd have all laughed as well.
That's a fair point.
Just saying. I mean, it's a good relationship to have, right? If your owner is that close to him that he's visiting us playing championship games and stuff like that. And if he's up for getting a challenge, all players want to play in the Premier League at some point. If that's his inroad and it's with somebody he knows, why is it impossible? Wayne, you don't look as optimistic as me.
I get what you're saying. However, unless you are in the Champions League, you're not going to get him higher. Simple as that. He can walk into any Premier League team he wants. So unless that the reason like when we got Lafayette, because he knows kind of in the past reached Lebris, and that's why he came. So that kind of, I get what you're saying about relationships and that sort of stuff, but unless you qualify for the Champions League, you've got absolutely zero chance of getting anybody like that. So, no.
I think it would have to be
but we're going to.
I was going to say, you know what Mike's going to go like, well, we're going to get Champions League.
We're going to get anywhere.
Signing, we're just going to casually come and just finish fourth.
It's got to be consistent Champions League. You can, because every now and again, a team gets in there for 1 year and then doesn't quite do it again the year after, and then ends up sort of tumbling down the Europa Leagues and then sort of getting into just they're not there anymore. That's
because they haven't got a pre-contract ready with Dembele, though. That's
that's true. But we won't need him.
You heard it first.
We won't need him because Ahmad will be there on right wing soon. He's deleting all Man United social media posts and everything.
Remember, guys, if this comes true, you watch this on Black Cats TV. If it doesn't, it was on Only Fools and SAFC. Them bloody Sky Sports pundits, what can you say?
I will defend Mike a little bit here, to be fair. Like, don't get me wrong, I'm not for 1 second. I think this
defend, not encourage, is the key word.
But I will give him this. If someone said to you after we'd won the playoff final at the end of May, we're going to sign Granit Xhaka,
exactly,
you would have thought you'd be on crack cocaine, wouldn't you?
Yeah. 100%.
So who knows? Anything can happen in football.
If you'd have told them how much we were going to spend in total and the caliber of players we're going to bring in, they would have thought you were on something. You know what I mean? We're here to break records. The other transfer rumour that I really didn't want to mention, it's not a transfer rumour, but Conrad made me do it, all right, is we always know something's going on with Ahmad when something happens with his social media. And this has happened. So Conrad can explain this one and what he thinks this might mean.
He deleted everything again, didn't he? Again.
Last time he did this, didn't he leave just Sunderland stuff up?
He did, yeah. He did this before. I don't know which window it was, but there was one window where they said he's coming back. He's coming back, and it was all. I think Fabrizio Romano even sort of said, "Oh, deal's done. He's coming back." And then like 4 hours later, he went, "Actually, deal's off," and all his Instagram was back as it was and stuff like that. There, I mean, he's not been playing consistently for Man United, and I don't think he likes probably being played at wing back because he's not. And when they ask him things on any other channel, he always talks about us and talks about how it's the best stadium he's ever played in, the best atmosphere. So do it, Sunderland. Dick on the table in fucking January, 50 million, just bang.
And
give us him.
And his best mate plays for us in a Dingra.
Exactly. And then he'll have Dembele to be his best mate as well in a year's time. So, like, why not?
I'm not going to go down this rabbit hole.
Yeah.
This is why Conrad's not negotiating for Sunderland. You know, dick on the table.
250 grand a week. What do you mean?
They're like, right, we're here to talk about the finances, and I'm like, unzips fly. Yeah.
Imagine just going, so Sunderland, how do you explain giving Ahmad 250 grand a week? Well, they go, run it down the wing, hear the Sunderland sing.
Top 10 David Joblin, Miles Percival, we can dream, Mike. James Bowen says, anything is possible. Mike, have you ever considered writing a book on conspiracy theories? Clearly, you don't know about my other channel.
It's going to go right. Conspiracy theories for Sunderland, chapter 1. Reynoldo's red card wasn't a red card. Yeah. Chapter 2. Osama Dembele is going to sign for Sunderland in the next 2 years.
Dan Neil has dirt on the owner. That's why he plays.
Dan Ballard is not human. No one can fold in half for that header. John Swinney, come on, boys. Mike did say in a couple of years for the Champions League. Exactly. Okay. I'm giving
so
you.
Just to put it out there, does this mean, for example, we finish 17th this year but win the FA Cup, and then next year we finish like 13th but win the Europa League, and then we're in the Champions League?
Yeah, that's fair.
That's exactly how it's going to happen.
I'll take it.
Okay, right. We'll see.
Mike can easily come back round if we're in Europe and say, "Well, I did say Europe. I didn't say we'd finish in a European place in the Prem. We'd have to win the FA Cup and finish like bottom half or something."
Listen, just because I once upon a time printed a sign saying "Trust in Beale" doesn't mean I'm wrong about everything.
You were also the one about 2 months later who said Beale's going.
Beale being appointed was part of the process, you see, because it made the board wake up for the following season. Then we got promoted. So
there we go.
It was all in the plan.
You have to hit rock bottom before you.
The good manager there and waste like Burstow on him, so they went, let's get the shit players out under this Beale guy, and then let's get the proper manager in.
It's not go down, it's all right.
There you go. Fair play to Kirill. If the last owners ever got 220 million for promotion, they would have kept everything and walked. KLD has ploughed all that money back into us. Yep. I mean, we've I've personally criticised them in the past, and the model. I know, Michael, you've always been quite faithful with the young players model and stuff like that.
Mike's going to go down this I've always been faithful Champions League route, then I'm going to say I always said this model would work.
You did. No, that's what I'm saying. I'm holding my hands up saying you always said it would work, sort of thing. So you saw something that we didn't at the time. But yeah, we're definitely trusting them now. Probably the best owners we've had. Full stop. I really can't think of anything better. So
I had a question in the chat before I put it in, but I just wanted to see if anyone actually knows, because I do know. Wayne, you sit at the same end of the ground as me. There's never any goals in the North End anymore.
No.
Does anyone know when the last time Sunderland actually scored a goal in the North End of that ground was?
Go on, I'm going to try and tackle this because I could probably.
I do.
Right, let me think. So
quick in the chat. Don't Google it.
We scored in the north opposite the Roker end.
Yeah. Well, you guys have a minute of thinking time while I give a massive shout out to Dave Seary, who sent over a picture to Wayne of all of us after the first episode we did of this, which is absolutely awesome.
Very talented.
Brilliant.
and he sent that over, did a drawing during the. I'm pretty sure he must have drawn that during the stream, sort of thing, which was absolutely excellent. Which I think Wayne's chopping up and putting it as part of his thumbnail as well. So thank you very much for that. We really do appreciate
while that
the
image is
effort.
on there. Sorry to interrupt that, but that image is going to all be us all at Mike's right at the end of the season, and we've got you.
That's it. That's us on
by
the
the way,
tour bus to the Champions
No,
League.
because Conrad will be crying. Doesn't matter what the results are. If I'm right, he doesn't like it.
Wait, happy tears though. Okay,
I'm still
Mike,
good. I'm not on the board yet, mate.
I think I've got the answer.
Go on
The
then.
last time we scored at that end, I want to say was Mundell against Preston.
That's correct, yeah.
Hey!
Yeah, that
There we
that
go.
absolute worldie into the top corner was the last time a Sunderland player has scored at that end of the ground.
And by the way, just for karma for all of their shithouse time-wasting tactics.
Yeah.
Oh, well, yeah, there's nothing worse. So thank you, Dave, from all of us. That was absolutely awesome. Really
Brilliant.
Appreciate it. So can't wait to see this week's. No, I'm only joking.
Yeah, fair play to you for the picture. Really well talented. Well talented.
I like the detail he got into Conrad's hair. No, I'm just...
It was just a semicircle, and there you go. Done. Now move on.
Absolutely nailed it.
Right, let's move on before we go on to any questions. I know Wayne's going to be pressed for time. Let's quickly move on to Forest away. Our away form's not been as good as the home form. Forest
Until this weekend.
Yes, when we win 4-0 again. No, I'm just... no Reinildo, obviously. No Diarra with his injury. So starting to get forced into some decisions here. Wayne, how do you see us setting up for this one?
I think we'll probably keep Rig in midfield. I think Masuwata will come in for Reinildo. Other than that, I don't see too many changes. Diarra one, I don't know. It's a. Do you drop Lafayette back into the midfield and you play a Dingra as an option?
He doesn't seem to like him. I don't know what it is. I just feel there's something wrong there.
I don't know. I mean, is that the option now to put Isidor on the left or put Mienda on the left and then play them two? Does Broby come in to allow Isidor to move out to the left hand side? I don't think we'll that many changes. I think it's the best time to play for us, if I'm honest. But I don't know. I'm a bit torn as to what he would do. I mean, Ballard's fit. Will he be tempted to bring Ballard back in?
Ballard made a massive difference in that game for me. And he made it more of an attacking game, which is weird to say about a centre-back coming on, you know.
I don't know. I'm a little bit of what we'll do. Like Michael said earlier, it's nice to have these options, and we're now scratching our head to think what the team will be. Whereas last season, you knew what the team would be. So good options.
Conrad, we know you're going to say Isidor up front, of course, but what about the rest of the team?
Well, Isidor up front, yeah. There's an option. Do you put Hume left back and Gertrude out at right back?
Right.
You know, and give him his sort of go out there, really, because Hume has.
Someone mentioned before, Gertrude is quite a utility player, isn't he? He's played in a lot of positions.
Defensive midfield for us in the last 2 games, and I think after the Palace game, people were like, "Why have you put him in there?" And they went, "Well, we needed to be defensively sound," and he sort of ticks both boxes really for that one. So I could see him coming in for his sort of debut at right back as well, and Hume moving across to the other side, so you've still got some consistency within your back line and what have you there.
Nordy at right back, possibly.
That could be one, but I think he's been so good at centre back. You know, he's just taken Watkins and Mateta out of his pockets as well, and he's about to do the same for Chris Wood and whoever else they've got up top. He's got massive pockets, there's Nordy. And then yeah, I think that's it. Probably Rig plays again. I think like you said before, Mike, right at the start, he hasn't done anything wrong. So I think with 11, he plays and gives him another go. I don't think Adingra comes in. There's just something not quite settled yet as to why he's not playing. And I think Enzo and Isidor seem to have a good partnership and a good understanding together. Rig seemed to do really well with Isidor as well, and Talby's getting slightly better each game. So I think you would go Hume at left back and Gertrude at right, and then the rest of the team is the same as before.
Being Laney says, does Rigg deserve to be back in? I felt here he did well and understand his feelings on coming off, even though it was needed. I think we'll start with three of the centre half, says Keno.
But it could be a back five at first, like Wayne was talking about before. But then in possession, we move to a three. But especially attacking wise, go 3 centre backs fuck off up front anyway. But I think you could see it, especially the way that we're thinking Ange and Nottingham Forest will play very high line, very front footed. It could be a perfect time for the likes of our fast players to get in behind them. And
imagine three at the back, the freedom that gives Ballard to get up into their midfield and win them headers and still have the best cover possible.
There's going to be a lot of balls over the top to chase after because they will play an incredibly high line and try to push us back. But obviously, Jacques is a very clever player. I think we're going to be, better for it.
Jacques and marks Morgan. You stop Morgan Gibbs White. You stop them playing. Jacques and mark him. You stop them playing. I think they're drawing 2s each tonight. They've had a hard game tonight. They're drawing 2s each away. So I think we'll get 3 points at the weekend.
Oh, excellent! I like your optimism, Wayne. Michael, what changes do you think we'll see then? Who would you put in?
I was going to say that I thought it would be Nordy will move to right back with Ballard and Alderete centre back, and Hugh moves to left back. That's what I thought would happen. But now you mentioned in the back three thing, I could genuinely see Labrise doing that as well. But think about it. If you're playing a back three, you've got Nordy, Alderete and Ballard. What a back three that is.
Exactly.
And that's an incredible... Now watch us get skinned repeatedly the weekend. I've said that. Put the kiss of death on it. But let's just touch the table a bit, the wooden table, as I'm saying this. Yeah, that is a back three that should it perform, in which it has done so far. The season should be really, really good. If it was a back three, I would probably say it would be obviously them three at the back. I would say probably Talby and Hume as wing backs. Then you obviously go probably Xhaka and Siddiqui in the middle. And then up front, it's the interesting one. You probably have Lefay on one side, Isidor up front, and then maybe Mayenda on the other, if Adingra doesn't start. If we went with a 4-3-3, then I would imagine it would be the same team that started last week, except you obviously put Nordy at right back and Hume at left back with Alderete and Ballard in the middle.
Yeah. Cool, good. And this is the only midweek stream that we bring you Michael Bowers touching his wood. So there you go. I mean, there's unique ones.
You want to highlight it that way, Mike?
Conrad's got it on the table for negotiating purposes.
So, with that in mind and the teams in mind, Wayne, give us a prediction.
Like I say, I think it's a cracking time to play Forest. I don't rate Ange at all. I just don't rate him as a manager. And I won the cup last year, but in the league they were awful. His tactics, he seems to be gung-ho. I think it'll play in our hands. I think us for counter-attacking will be perfect. So I'm going to go for 3-1 win to us.
3-1 win. Love it. Love the optimism there. Michael Bowers, you were right. Can you do 2 in a row?
Well, funny enough, I actually agree with Wayne. I've had a gut feeling we'll win this game. I think I had that feeling even when Nuno was there. Sometimes for me, I just get a certain vibe about a certain game. And I mean, more times not, I'm wrong. But I did call, by the way, the last 4 times we've been involved in the playoffs, I've called Sunderland's outcome every single time before they've even happened. Not to big myself up too much, even though I'm going to sound arrogant. Right, score. I think... I'm not going to say a clean sheet because every time I say one, we never keep one. So I'm going to do not reverse psychology there, but I'll say 2-1 to us. I think playing them after they've played in Europe, I think is ideal, especially when they've played away at Betis tonight. You've got to bear in mind they're going to spend all day tomorrow. They're going to spend tomorrow travelling back. So that's going to be a recovery day. They won't have had much time to probably train much. And then Friday, you obviously maybe do a bit of training. And then Saturday,
and they drew 2-2, by the way.
2 each, yeah.
Which, to be fair, is not a bad point for them, actually, the way at Betis, I don't think. But the point I'm making is that I'm hoping that the Betis game will have took a lot out of them. And
well, it looked like it was a sort of last 5 minutes equaliser for Betis, and it says Ange didn't look happy. Again. So already looking good.
I do think Wayne's point's valid, though. I think apparently Ange likes to go gung-ho, and I think that as long as we stand up to that well enough, then I think we should have a lot of joy on the break. And I think... here's another. Another one is like we haven't won away from home or scored a goal yet away from home, have we? But I think And also from a selfish point of view, I've not seen us win away in the Premier League yet, and I'm going on Saturday, so I'm begging that obviously changes. But yeah, I'll say 2-1 us. I've got a gut feeling we're going to, and to caveat this straight away, as long as we don't get anyone sent off again, as long as we don't have any, all these caveats in there just to get it out there straight away. But I've got a good feeling we'll win on Saturday as well, 2-1.
There we go. 2 wins, Conrad.
I'm stuck.
We're going for a full house.
Yeah, I'm stuck between two of either 2-0 us or 2-1 us. I'm not entirely confident of a shutout because of just how much they're going to attack. But that's why I think we'll win, is because they'll attack so much and we'll actually be able to break out a lot easier than we found it against Crystal Palace, and especially we found it with a man less against Villa. So I'm going to say 2-0. I do think we probably do it. And I'm going to say they don't score. I think we win 2-0. And Mike's shaking his head because he's thinking it's 6 or 7. Or
you're all forcing my hand here because I can't.
He's got to
do
go big, lad.
I'm going to go 3-0. I think similar performance to probably what Wayne's expecting, but Roofs is just outstanding at the moment. Little slip for the Villa goal. Could have done better, but
he'll win us more points than he'll lose us.
Definitely. So I think with him in mind, clean sheet for him, gets him back on track. 3-0 win to the lads. We've had lots of predictions in the chat as well. Miles of Sunderland 2-1. Quite a few 2-1s. Steve said 1-0. Paul Armstrong 2-1. John says 2-0 to the lads. Gary says 2-1. So lots of predictions there. Nobody's predicting a draw or a loss for this one, so it's
a draw wouldn't be a bad point though. By the way, I want to put that out there. Even if we come out with it with something, I've got to
get something from every game. We'll be doing all right.
Yeah, well, exactly. You just, like I said, for the rest of the season, if you want them to stay up, then you want to average a point a game for a whole season now, and you should be fine with.
I mean, as the biggest optimism I am saying we're going to win every game, I'll take a point on any of the away games.
Exactly.
It's the home games that might disappoint me a bit with that, but any away game like this,
I would say with the exception of probably the likes of your Brentford, West Ham, Leeds, stuff like that, I think they're the few that I might say, well, it depends on the situation at the time, to be fair, though. So it just depends. But I know what you mean. I think the next couple of games, what was it, Forest and Man United, I wouldn't complain even if it was 2 draws in those 2. Yeah, I was going to say, I wouldn't complain with 2 draws in the 2 away games, but I would ideally then you need to beat Wolves at home if we can.
Yeah.
We beat Man United.
Oh, wait, aye.
Well, Ahmad scores a couple of own goals and goes, Sunderland, please sign me in
Rips
January.
off his Man United shirt and he's got the Sunderland one on, whichever one we choose that day. And everyone's like, how did he get that? And printed.
Ahmad's going, you know the guy called Conrad Lee on a channel called Blackcast TV? He's manifesting me signing for the biggest club in the Northeast, you see. So,
and he exposes himself during negotiations as well. It's bizarre.
Is this the first time? This is the first time we'll have played against him, won't we? Since he signed for us.
Yeah.
No.
Right, chaps.
That's going to be heartbreaking.
I've got a super early start in the morning, so I'm going to love yous and leave yous. I'm going to drop off and I'm going to get myself to need me beauty sleep.
No worries. It's a pleasure having you, Wayne. We're just going to jump onto these last few questions and comments anyway. So,
but thanks everybody. Thanks everybody from my channel who's tuned in. Don't forget to subscribe to all of us. Cracking effort. Great show again, and I'll see you next week.
See you next week, Wayne. Cheers,
can't wait. Hopefully we've won it, Forest.
Fingers crossed. Fingers crossed.
We're going to wait. There we go. Oh, he's back.
Oh, he's back up.
I pressed the button. Sorry, Wayne. I'll take you out. There you go.
Right, there we go. We're going to just stay in a 3 like this. I don't know. Actually, we could probably do that. There we go.
Oh, you're surprised I didn't do that. Have the square at the bottom right, but it shows Sunderland in 7th. Instead, just like observe and look at it in.
Right, we've got a few. I've only starred a few. If you've got any questions now's the time to get them in. I've got a few already starred, and then I'll come back to the chat and find them. John McKinney earlier on said, Riggs surprised me a lot. Plays with no fear. His market value will shoot up if he has a good season in the Premier League. I was very impressed with Riggs coming on. Didn't expect all that much, but he held his own. Looked like a regular player. Agreed? Gents, do you think Rigg held his own in the Premier League as a debut?
With his half-an-hour cameo, yeah, absolutely. I thought he took the mick out of a player once or twice with a few little cute touches. The first 5 minutes, I went, oh, he's not he's not quite here yet, but obviously it's his first game. After that, I thought he didn't look out of place at all and was linking up really well with Isidor.
He does seem to know what balls Isidor likes, like not just swinging
that's
over
familiarity
top.
though,
Yeah.
and that's probably why Enzo's in over maybe Adingra as well when you play an Isidor.
Yeah, definitely. Cool. Thank you for the comment, John. Chris Carter says, what are the chances of us going back three with Dan, Omar and Nordy? Suits me. We just mentioned that. Michael, do you think that's would you like to see that?
At some point, I wouldn't be against it. I think it's a really good. I think all three of them have had a partnership alongside each other. And we've had Dan Ballard, so had Ballard and Alderete play. We've had actually, I don't think we've had Ballard and Michele play together alongside.
Ballard
each other
and Nordy haven't, apart from
those two haven't. But
then.
So but you've obviously had Nordy and Alderete. You've had Alderete and Ballard. So there's clearly enough of a combination there.
And Nordy's just class. He knows what he's doing at all times.
Well, exactly.
But they're all class.
Just get Nordy going forward and just do all the Rory Delap style long throws.
Yeah.
And we'll just have the other two. And then we'll have just Alderete trying to score volleys in the box. But I think if we did switch to a back three, I think that's the perfect combination for that back three, in my opinion.
Yeah.
Have we still not had a new player score a goal yet, by the way? It's still all been the players from last season.
Yeah, come on, lads. What are you doing? You're letting the side down. No way.
It's been every player
get excited about it. It's all the older guard that's supposed to be dragging
hopeful. I was so hopeful when Xhaka turned and went to strike, and then it just like...
Oh, when he won it back on the edge of the box, and I was like, shout, far corner.
I was so hopeful in that moment. It'll come.
Yeah.
Tim the Minion says the red card was a kick in the sack for our chances of winning, but was an actual kick in the sack for Cash, according to Cash only. I'm from the era when it would have been a yellow card each and get on with the game. 100%. Couldn't agree with you more. Definitely wasn't a red. We've established that. Being Laney had a question, said, can you pick our best new signing? I feel we have so many to choose from. It's too hard to make that decision. I know mine. Conrad?
I mean, God, there's so many.
They're all so beautiful.
Yeah, they are. Look at these beautiful bastards in red and white. I'm stuck between two, and I'm going to stay on this fence of Siddiqui and Nordy.
Okay.
They're absolute class, both of them. And this is us without seeing Traore or Broby yet as well. And, without really seeing the best of Diarra as well. Alderete is obviously class as well, but Siddiqui's just covered every blade of grass 3 times over and doesn't even look tired at the end of the game. And then when he goes down with cramp, comes out after the game and admits that he wasn't even cramping up, he was just taking the piss and just delaying the time. And then you've got Nordy, who's doing outside of the foot volleys to try and get Alderete to score and just winning everything and pocketing Premier League strikers. I can't pick between those two. It has to be one of them.
There you go. I'll let you have the two. Michael Bowers?
Like you say, it's a difficult, in a good way. It's a hard question to answer. I think I said Diarra. I think I'm part of saying that because he's our record signing. But I think I'm going to go with the obvious one here. I think Xhaka, and I think that it's one of the, not just for the fact of the quality he brings, the level of quality experience he brings, but I wouldn't have been surprised if the likes of say now was Nordy on loan at Leverkusen last year when Xhaka was there.
Yeah, possibly.
I think we said that.
It was last year or the year before. But he was definitely there while Xhaka
either way, Xhaka was there with him, wasn't he? So the point I'm making is that I think Xhaka, not just for the quality he brings, like you said, the header for Isidor's goal at the weekend, the cross for his winner against. I was just about to say the cross for his winner against Brentford, but not even just that. It's the influence he'll bring for upcoming transfer targets and go, hang on, Xhaka's gone there. I fancy some of that now. I fancy going to a club that's clearly ambitious to sign someone like that. So,
are you listening, Ahmad? Are you listening, Dembele? Are you listening?
Are you listening, Mbappe?
Simon, you have one job: use your agent Adingra and get agent Ahmad to Sunderland. But being joking aside, I think there's so many. Like I love Conrad's shouts of Siddiqui and Nordy. I think Xhaka's there. I think Roofs is there. I think Alderete. There's so many different options you can think of as to who's been the actual best signing, and the best thing is, like you said, with the likes of Broby and Traore, we haven't seen any of them yet. We've not seen anything from either of them at the moment. So But yeah, if I had to go for one, I would say Xhaka, not just for the level of quality and experience he has, but for what he could do in terms of attracting other players to the club.
Excellent. I mean, I thought we'd all be saying the same players, but we really haven't. For me, the two, if we're going to say two that we're torn between, would be Alderete and Reynildo. Alderete just so cool, calm, collected on the ball. He just looks so confident, and I never feel like he's in danger even when he's under pressure. Like he just so relaxed on the ball. But Reynildo's probably my favourite. I know I'm not going to see him for a couple of games, which I'm really upset at. But he's just everywhere. And what a motor he's got on. For one of the more senior players in that team, he's my favourite signing, hands down, I think. Mm-hmm. And for free. That's just me because I'm a cheapskate. I think he's brilliant. Thank you for the question, being Laney. Really appreciate that. Eddie says, who will finish as this season's top scorer? We know Conrad's answer. It's just...
Well, it depends. It depends because if he's going to play, like we said, that we think Robbie will take over from both of them at one point and probably end up being number one. So, based on what we've done so far, you would have to say it's probably going to be Isidor because he's getting the chances and taking several of those chances. But we all said before that we still think Robbie's going to end up being number one. So at that point, if he hits the ground running, then it's likely going to be him. I don't think it's going to be any of the wingers. Like normally you would, like previous seasons, we've had a winger who's contributing several goals. I think they will contribute assists and maybe the odd one or two, but I think we're definitely going to find it's going to be more of the strikers that'll be there. So I'm going to go with Isidor because he's playing and scoring at the moment and he's doing it. But with a little asterisk being until Robbie plays and starts scoring a shit ton.
Yeah. Michael Bowers, same answer?
No, actually, I've got a different one.
Okay.
It'll be Amad Diallo because he signs in January and scores a goal a game for the rest of the season.
I'll take it.
Yeah, if only. What about yours?
Mine, it is really difficult. I mean, obviously, Isidor's got that head start, but I still don't think he's that starting player. Robbie, he's too much of an unknown for me at the moment. I would still have to say Mayenda at this stage. And I know he's not been firing on all cylinders, but I think he'll come good still. We've seen it before, and I think it'll end up being Mayenda. So I'm
surprised you didn't go for Dembele. Osama Dembele when the KLD signs in January.
That's the 2028 season. That
was
the 2028.
That's 3 years' time. I want it next season.
I'll answer the question properly. If I had to pick one myself, I'd probably edge to... I don't know. It's wrong because I could genuinely... I think it's one of Isidor or Mayenda, but I could genuinely make a case for either of them. If I had to go for it, I would probably say Isidor just. But it wouldn't shock me if Mayenda scored more than him.
They both had 12 and 13 between each last season, so there were only a couple in it between them.
I think there'll be a patch when Isidor scores a few and then Mayenda might score a few. I think it'll kind of rotate in between them, really.
Okay, there we go. So thank you again for the question, Eddie. Really appreciate that. John McKinney said, is Haiti in Africa? Because if so, by Isidor.
I have no idea where Haiti is.
It's a Caribbean country. Yes, it's next to the Dominican Republic. So
they don't qualify for AFCON.
We should be all right with that one.
It's not like someone being in Europe, like Australia being in Eurovision, that sort of thing. And Haiti can be in AFCON.
Yeah. Tim the Minion says Talby tracks back and plays with his head up. Would you bring Traore in on the right? He's an unknown, right? At this stage,
he'll get a game soon, I reckon, or some minutes to test it. Obviously, that couldn't happen against Villa because we were sort of locked down into our sort of when they're on the ball, we're in our defensive unit and what have you here. Yeah. But I think if we'd have kept 11 on, you would have probably ended up seeing the likes of Robbie and Traore get some game time. But it depends how Nottingham Forest goes on the weekend. But you could likely see, them coming off the bench and getting some minutes again.
There you go. What do you think, Michael, for Traore?
I think probably as of right now, no. I think that Talby will probably retain his place in that position. I think down the line, possibly. I mean, again, a lot of it depends on injuries and a lot of it depends on even sometimes form or even something as simple as what each individual game requires, because we know that Labrise in many ways reminds me a bit of Alex Neil in that regard. Take up my feelings towards Alex Neil, but one thing he was very pragmatic and was very dependent on what each game required, and I quite like that in a head coach, if I'm honest. So it could depend on something as simple as what each game needs, but right now, no, but possibly down the line.
Yeah, I'm probably exactly the same camp. And he's too much of an unknown. We want to see him get minutes. We want to see him succeed. Didn't have a great stint last time he was in the Premier League, sort of thing. So hopefully,
1 year he did.
Come good.
1
year he did.
2021, he had a great year.
Yeah, apparently it was really good for Villa.
Yeah, he had 14. I think he had 7 goals and 14 assists in that year. So he's.
But it was the one after that, wasn't it?
After that, he's not done. Yeah. He's not hit those numbers again.
But considering the money we've paid, though, it's kind of like a punt that if it doesn't work, it's not going to break the bank. If it does work, brilliant. You keep him for another year.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. So too much of an unknown factor to answer at the moment for me, but thank you for the question anyway. I really appreciate it. Gary Hoyle, you always have a better chance with teams returning from European games, so why not get a win at the City ground? Well, it's not a question, but we all agree. Yeah,
we're gonna.
Our predictions say so. Eddie asks, what is the squad value now? What's the value of squad now? Is it 200 million? I had this up there. It's 290 million for the entire squad. And believe it or not, that is the second lowest in the Premier League.
Yeah. Like I said last week, that is just bonkers. That is just how the Premier League just become a money-driven division now. Like,
but if you think as well, that money and what we were saying after the Crystal Palace game, we assembled our defence for pretty much less than £30 million.
Yeah.
What was it like? Roofs, Aldrete, Nordy, and then Hume was like a couple of $100,000, and
Reynildo was free. Yeah, and even if you include Ballard in it, he was $2 million a few seasons ago.
Exactly.
Yeah, you've got to think of the depth of some of these Premier League squads where their B and C choices are still Premier League quality players that they've had for ages who are on a fair whack and worth a lot of money. We've come up and we've got a squad that's not worth loads, and then we've invested. So that the bulk of our 290 million is at least in a starting 11 and 12, 13, 14 players, you know what I mean? It's not spread throughout the entire team like then. So I don't think it's a good metric of judging the team you're playing.
No, not necessarily. But at the same time, I think we've been financially, and PSR in particular, we've been at a disadvantage because a lot of these clubs that you've mentioned have had years and years and years of being in the Premier League and have had at least the last 3-4 years of just not being challenged by promoted clubs. So we've had to be very careful to some degree still what we end up having to spend. And even then, to be fair, we've obviously lost a lot less money than Leeds and Burnley, but they've also had Premier League and Parachute money coming in, whereas we've not had that. So yeah, it's a balancing act. Quickly on Traore, by the way. Yeah, he got 7 goals and 6 assists in the 2020-2021 season, which was the lockdown year. So, yeah, there you go. Make of that what you want.
If we have no fans at the ground, it'd be amazing.
Maybe he just doesn't do well in front of a crowd. Maybe that's
Charlie White's best year for us was
the FA Cup. Who knows?
Charlie White's best year for us was the COVID year when he got 31 goals when no one was there,
and it wasn't even close either, was it?
Yeah.
Well, we hopefully he will prove it a good investment in the end. Paul Mesner says, I think this year will bring at least 6 teams in the relegation battle. How many points do you think it will take for us to stay up? Also, will Diarra miss AFCON now? We kind of mentioned this last time.
About
that
was
the
the
points
question, wasn't it?
Yeah, did we say 36 was the magic number?
I think we all said a few. I think I said around 40. But it depends. It depends how quickly you want to get there. When I was saying about 40, but yeah, I think I said 40, but I think we looked at, was it 37, 38 as normally seen teams fine.
Yeah.
I think it also depends on how you do against the sides that are likely to be in around you, because you're taking points off them that they can't gain on you. Yeah. So it just depends on that situation. But I would say
which is why Wolves is massive.
I would say about 4. I would say about 40, but it could be less if you beat teams like Wolves, Leeds, Burnley, Brentford, West Ham.
Yeah.
Yeah. There we go. And will Diarra miss AFCON now?
Hopefully.
They've not said what time in December. They just said December, haven't they? But I still retain that they will take him regardless of if he's playing for us or not. One, because he's one of their better players anyway when Senegal are playing. But it's a bit like when we had Kenwyn Jones and they were like, he's injured. And they were like, yeah, but we're still taking him to Trinidad for 2 weeks. It's like, why? And they just sort of like to do things themselves. So I think they'll take him regardless.
You're possibly right. I'd like to hope that our physios would be saying, no, it's not a good idea. We shouldn't be going there. But, they're a law unto themselves at that point.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anything to add on that, Michael?
No, but I mean, I think again, it just depends on the timing of December. But I'm kind of with Conrad. I do feel like they will.
He's a good player, and he's one of their better players. They're gonna take him if
exactly. You'd be surprised if they didn't. You'd be surprised they didn't. I mean,
with Rooney, with Maguire at points, and more recently when they've been injured, and we knew they weren't going to play in the first 3 games, but yet we knew they would play later on. By
the way, just to address a couple of comments, Roofs was a really good shout, and it's one that I was really debating. I mean, Roofs is what saved us a point at Palace. He's arguably saved us 3 against Brentford, considering he saved a penalty and stopped us from going 1-0 down at that point
Cost
in the game.
Us 2 against Villa. No, I'm joking. He didn't.
Any of the players we've brought in as individual signings, we'd be like, this is a mint signing. The point is, it's very difficult to choose. Everyone's a close second.
The reason we miss Roofs, and it's not, I don't mean it that in any other way than it is because the upgrade from Patterson to Roofs is great. Absolutely it is. But the upgrade in any of our defence, any of our midfield to the players we've brought in is bigger and better than Patterson's to Roof, which is still a massive jump. But if you think you're going from Dan Neil to Xhaka, you're going from Chris Rigg to Siddiqui, you're going Bellingham to Diarra, you're going from 09 and Meppin to Alderete and
levels
Nordi,
and levels
you're going from someone like
to Reynoldo
to Simon Adingra or
exactly. These are massive jumps there, But it is hard to pick, it really is.
But it's good because in previous seasons, it's mostly been, it's hard to choose a player who's been a good signing because they all end up being cack. So it's quite nice for
Which one was your favourite out of these worst ones?
Which were I think Robin Reuter, because he was not as bad as Steele or Camp, so it was fine.
Big question from another Michael in the chat. Great name, by the way, Michael. But do you think we will have what it takes to beat them, Max?
So
I've got my opinions on this. I'll let you guys go first, though. So
at the start of before we signed any players and when it was May, I was sitting there going, no, we have the ability to cause them problems, but obviously they're great. They've had a very rough ride of a transfer window and a start to the Premier League, and they're still not quite finding their feet. And as I said before about us, I've been pleasantly surprised with how good we have been, how great these players are that we've signed, and the levels that we're performing in different manners as well. And I've had the best thing that I can say about this is I have friends who support Newcastle, and they all come to me at one point this season and gone, I'm worried about playing you, which they wouldn't have said back in May, but they're starting to say it now. And that's probably the bit that I'm a bit like, we could do this.
You
here.
Should be. You should be.
The way last time the FA Cup game, Beale playing out from the back against this high pressing unit of Eddie Howe in its full Champions League flow was just never gonna work. But you've got Labrie now who understands the other teams and makes sure that we're set up in that way. I think we've got a lot more ruthless, like the keeper, and aggressive players, which will match their intensity and their sort of style of play. So we'll give as good as we get, and I think we can cause them problems, and I do think we'll win at least one of the games.
Cool. Excellent. Michael Bowers.
I think away from home it's still going to be, I mean, both games will be hard, but especially away from home, I think it's still going to be very, very tricky. I think it's, I think St. James's, whether unfortunately St. James's is one of the more hostile environments of the Premier League. But then again, I think our atmosphere has actually been quite good this season, and I'm someone who's criticised our atmosphere quite a lot, or lack of one in recent years. And I'm talking like when we've been doing well in the Championship, but I've got to admit, this season it's been pretty good.
It was a bit silent first half against Villa, even before the sending off. But the second half, I just remember being like, God, we're here, like we're right behind them, and it almost felt they woke, and it was a bit like this is phenomenal, this is great. Ooh.
One of my mates had to try and ring me then.
Tell him to sod off.
Yeah, I know exactly. So what I was going to say though was, I think, well, actually, the big thing about it is that our atmosphere, every goal we've scored has been met with a raucous explosion of noise, and I think that's what it should be. So to answer the question, at home I wouldn't bet against it, and I think the fact what Conrad's saying, that if there's some of his mates going, you know, I'm worried about playing you, and I'm like, well, no offense, but like, we should not be that. Like, if you look at the FA Cup game, obviously we're in the Championship, we should not be that inferior to Newcastle. We should be club that is genuinely going to possibly beat them and cause them problems. Even if they beat us, you want them to go, bloody hell, that was hard work. Like, and the thing is, the longer we stay in the Prem, the much. I'm not saying we're going to do what they've done, but like in terms of like, you know, winning a cup or finishing Champions League or anything like that, at least not yet. Hopefully in time, but the more longer. This is why I think for me staying up this season's massive, because if you stay up this season, then it's all about, you could then build a better team with more Premier League money behind you, and with what we've got in terms of our recruitment team, if they stay, then you go, wow, we could genuinely have a shot of at least some significantly reducing the gap to them. And you'd argue we've gone some way, part way of doing that already, not completely though, but yeah, I think at home in particular, as long as we've got most of our main team available, why not?
Hashtag sort your passports out. There we go. Do you want my ever pessimistic opinion on this one?
We take 12 points from them out of possible 6.
Are you going to say if we don't take 6 points off them, we're disappointed?
We're going to absolutely smash them in the first game. And the first game, they've no goals in them. They've no striker firing on cylinders. They're having a terrible start, and they can't even claim they've had a hard run in these opening fixtures, as far as I'm concerned. I think we're going to absolutely do the number on them. You know, when's the last time they beat us in the league? I can't remember.
2011.
Exactly.
Ryan Taylor over the wall, 1-0.
The fixture at their place might be another story. And what I'm going to base that on is what business they do in January. We know they've got they've got money behind them. They've also got the Isak money now as well behind them, albeit they've spent some of that. It depends what they do in January and who they bring in January. If they sign someone like Ahmad, I'm going to cry and crawl into a corner.
He wouldn't dirty his feet.
But that's what it's going to depend on. I think if we hold them to a draw at their place, I'll be happy and absolutely dominate them, and at our place, obviously I'm going to be happy. So 4 points. 4 points I'm going for.
I'll be over the moon with that.
Yeah. Oh, I'd love 4. But I'd be... I was going to say something really crude if I got 6, but you can imagine.
You're turning into Mike here.
Yeah.
If we get 6, then I'm like, oh.
I was about to say I'm rubbing off on him, but that would have been taken.
That was similar to what I was thinking.
I'll just take the piss for a second, right? Could you actually imagine if, say, we did beat them twice? Well, even if we get the lucky wins, whatever. Like, say we beat them twice. Can you imagine if, say, we actually finished like, I don't know, 2 to 4 points ahead of them, and we finished in like the Champions League places? I know, obviously not. I know. Well, Mike will try and convince us that it's going to happen. But like, I know I'm not expecting Champions League, but it just would be quite funny if our results against them stop them getting into Europe or something. That actually would be really funny.
It would be amazing. I mean, I'm enjoying every single day in the office, sat right behind a Newcastle fan. Every day we stay above them in the Premier League, I'm enjoying them days in the office.
Every game week this season so far.
Yes, yeah.
You say Newcastle goes decline.
Mind the gap.
Hey, I can't see you. We're 5th.
Bailey Montblanc says, great name, by the way. I hope that's your real name. That's an awesome name. What is the future for Pato? We kind of vaguely speculated, I think, on this last week.
Yeah, I think we did.
I think the consensus, I mean, you can jump in, lads, and correct me if I'm wrong, but the consensus from last week is we all think Moore's an adequate number 2. So it's probably best to cash in on him now. But if he's happy to stay and be number 2, what a great player to have there.
Yeah.
That's
pretty much, yeah, that's what I said, yeah.
Yeah. So that's the answer for that one. If nobody wants to jump in, that's awesome. Who will be the first new signing except Lafay to score a league goal? I'm going to say Xhaka. Just because we've seen him try, and I think he's just going to come. We're going to see that shot at some point, or a free kick that's just going to wow us all.
Rattle across pond, go in. Okay, I'll tell you what. I'll go left field. I'll say Siddiqui.
Siddiqui. Interesting.
I was going to go completely different. I was going to say one of the two centre backs of Alderete or Nordi, especially after that bit with Villa where Nordi's taking the piss in their box and Alderete is just a threat anyway. But I could easily see it being someone like
Alderete's
Talby.
volley.
That volley against Brentford that was flying it. Yeah, exactly. One of
I'll
them.
tell you what. Can you imagine this? Right, so Nordi does the complete full long throw, and then it's headed back to Alderete, and then he volleys it from like the
overhead kicks it in.
Yeah. Oh, mate.
Yeah.
Brilliant.
Oh, I'll have to turn the live commentary off for a minute to have a moment if that happens.
You just going
to sit in silence for a moment.
Mike just comes off the stream and goes, "Sorry guys, I was just touching my wood. I was that excited."
Censored.
Hope no kids are watching.
Couldn't be this time. Past the watershed. Steve says, Conrad, are you coming to Manchester for any games? Hopefully not, so then we can get the tickets. That's my brother. You're doing home games. You're doing home games, man.
I'm doing home games. I might be going to Old Trafford, but I will be sitting in the Old Trafford end. I have a friend who supports Man United, so
could we ever do it?
But I've done it before at Middlesbrough. It was very difficult, especially when we scored like 5 minutes from the end.
We scored. No.
That was pretty much it. Yeah. But to be fair, most of Man United fans will be tourists, and most of them will be probably thinking, actually, shall Sunderland win and we can get rid of this clown in charge? So, I don't think it'll be that threatening, but I think I've just got to behave. That's all. So I might be going to Old Trafford. I don't know yet.
Well, give us a shout. We'll go for a drink. My gym overlooks Old Trafford, so it's literally around the corner.
How big's your gym? Old Trafford's massive.
For the price I pay, it should be big.
Yeah.
I think we've got to the end of the questions, gents. So unless there's anything you guys want to add now, we could be done.
No, I would just say, obviously, thanks for Michael and Wayne and you, Mike, as well, for being on this. The three-way dance of these Sunderland channels. So everyone who's on our channel, please go over and subscribe to Michael Bowers and do the same for Wayne, Only Fools and SAFC. He ducked out early, but please do
just
go and
done that
subscribe.
so you can see them at the top.
Yeah, go and subscribe to both of them. And if you're on the other channels and you haven't subscribed to us, do the same for us. Really helps me out and helps Mike out as well. Do it now.
Yeah,
I won't tell
subscribe to everyone, basically.
I like my little catchphrase. I won't tell you again. It's like vaguely threatening.
Vader, Vader doing the force choke thing. You just go. Oh, you know when you do the Star Wars, you do like the Jedi mind trick that you just go. Mike's going to go. Sunderland will finish in Europe this season.
We will.
Sunderland will beat the Mags at home.
Or I want to do
10th by January.
Sunderland will sign Amad Diallo in January.
Do the Charles Xavier
Yes. I wonder if Mike has got a clue who Charles Xavier is, but
Michael know. Michael,
big Marvel and DC fan. Thank you very much. There you go.
More than by me.
Michael, any final thoughts for our wonderful audience?
Thanks everyone who's watching, and thanks to you two for suggesting this. It's been very therapeutic. It's been a really good chat, a good laugh, and yeah. Let's hope next time we've spoken, we've got our first away win of the season.
And we're on 11 points from a possible 18.
And then Mike's going to go, and we're third in the Premier League table because everyone takes points off each other. And then we'll be a game closer to Dembele signing for us and playing PSG away.
Yeah. It's going to be difficult this season for me because every week, I don't know how my face is going to get more and more smug.
It's not possible.
I'm just going to turn into a smug meme by the end of the season.
Hey, don't get me wrong, to be fair, I'll be smug if we stay up this season. I can just go to everyone who said we'd beat Southampton's tally or derbies. Jog on.
Jog on. There you go. That's a good sign out, that, Michael. Yeah. Jog on.
Jog on.
Right, excellent. So from me and from Michael, from Conrad, from Wayne, who is sleeping, don't forget, subscribe to all the channels. Thank you all for being here. Thank you for hitting the like button. Thank you for all your support and your questions. And we will see you next week for some more midweek Mackem mayhem. Goodbye.